Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing, where, where today we are going to be continuing to read Homer's Iliad. So, let's get it going. Then thus aloud, ye dauntless Dardans, hear, and you whom distant nations send to war. Be mindful of the strength your fathers bore. Be still yourselves, and Hector asks no more. 1 hour demands me in the Trojan wall, to bid our altars flame and victims fall. Nor shall I trust the matrons' holy train, and reverend elders seek the gods in vain. This said, with ample strides the hero passed, the shield's large orb behind his shoulder cast. His neck o'ershadowing to his ankle hung, and as he marched the brazen buckler rung. Now paused the battle, godlike Hector gone, 167, where daring Glaucus and great Tydeus' son, between both armies met the chiefs from far, observed each other and had marked for war. Near as they drew, Tydeus thus began, Where art thou, boldest of the race of man? Our eyes till now that aspect ne'er beheld, where fame is reaped amid the embattled field. Yet far before the troops thou darst appear, and meet a lance the fiercest heroes fear. Unhappy they, and born of luckless sires, who tempt our fury when Minerva fires. But if from heaven celestial thou descend, know with immortals we no more contend. Not long Lycurgus viewed the golden light, that daring man who mixed with gods in fight. Bacchus and Bacchus's votaries he drove, with brandished steel from Nisa's sacred grove. Their consecrated spears lay scattered round, with curling vines and twisted ivy bound, while Bacchus headlong sought the briny flood, and Thetis' arms received the trembling god. Nor failed the crime the immortals' wrath to move, the immortals blessed with endless ease above. Deprived of sight by their avenging doom, cheerless he breathed and wandered in the gloom. Then sunk unpitied to the dire abodes, a wretch accursed and hated by the gods. I brave not heaven, but if the fruits of earth sustain thy life, and human be thy birth. Bold as thou art, too prodigal of breath, approach and enter the dark gates of death. What or from whence am I, or who my sire? Replied the chief. Can Tydeus' son inquire? Like leaves on trees the race of man is found, now green in youth, now withering on the ground. Another race the following spring supplies, they fall successive and successive rise. So generations in their course decay, so flourish these when those are passed away. But if thou still persist to search my birth, then hear a tale that fills the spacious earth. A city stands on Argos' utmost bound, Argos the fair for warlike steeds renowned. Aeolian Sisyphus with wisdom blessed, in ancient time the happy wall possessed. Then called a fiery Glaucus was his son, great Glaucus, father of Bellerophon, who o'er the sons of men in beauty shined, loved for that valour which preserves mankind. Then mighty Praetus Argos' sceptre swayed, whose hard commands Bellerophon obeyed. With direful jealousy the monarch raged, and the brave prince in numerous toils engaged. For him Antea burned with lawless flame, and strove to tempt him from the paths of fame. In vain she tempted the relentless youth, endued with wisdom, sacred fear, and truth. Fired at his scorn, the queen to Praetus fled, and begged revenge for her insulted bed. Incensed he heard resolving on his fate, but hospitable laws restrained his hate. To Lycia the devoted youth he sent, with tablets sealed that told his dire intent. 168. Now blessed by every power who guards the good, the chief arrived at Xanthus' silver flood. There Lycia's monarch paid him honours due. 9 days he feasted, and 9 bulls he slew. But when the 10th bright morning orient glowed, the faithful youth his monarch mandate showed. The fatal tablets that till that instant sealed the deathful secret to the king revealed. First, dire Chimera's conquest was enjoined, a mingled monster of no mortal kind. Behind a dragon's fiery tail was spread, a goat's rough body bore a lion's head. Her pitchy nostrils flaky flames expire, her gaping throat emits eternal fire. This pest he slaughtered, for he read the skies, and trusted heavens in forming prodigies. Then met in arms the Solymaean crew, 169, fiercest of men, and those the warrior slew. Next the bold Amazons his whole force defied, and conquered still, for heaven was on his side. Nor ended here his toils, his Lycian foes. At his return a treacherous ambush rose. With levelled spears along the winding shore, there fell they, breathless, and returned no more. At length the monarch with repentant grief confessed the gods, and God-descended chief his daughter gave the stranger to detain, with half the honours of his ample reign. The Lycians grant a chosen space of ground, with woods, with vineyards, and with harvest crowned. There long the chief his happy lot possessed, with 2 brave sons and 1 fair daughter blessed. Fair Ian in heavenly eyes, her fruitful love, crowned with Sarpedon's birth the embrace of Jove. But when at last distracted in his mind, forsook by heaven, forsaking humankind, wide o'er the Ilian field he chose to stray, a long, forlorn, uncomfortable way. 170. Woes heaped on woes consumed his wasted heart. His beauteous daughter fell by Phoebe's dart. His eldest born by raging Mars was slain in combat on the Solymaean plain. Hippolochus survived, from him I came, the honoured author of my birth and name. By his decree I sought the Trojan town, by his instructions learned to win renown, to stand the first in worth as in command, to add new honours to my native land, before my eyes my mighty sires to place, and emulate the glories of our race. He spoke, and transport filled Tydides' heart. In earth the generous warrior fixed his dart. Then friendly thus the Lycian prince addressed, "Welcome, my brave hereditary guest. Thus ever let us meet with kind embrace, nor stain the sacred friendship of our race. No, chief, our grandsires have been guests of old, Oeneus the strong, Bellerophon the bold. Our ancient seat his honoured presence graced, where 20 days in genial rites he passed. The parting heroes mutual presents left. A golden goblet was thy grandsire's gift. Oeneus a belt of matchless work bestowed, that rich with Tyrian dye refulgent glowed. This from his pledge I learned, which safely stored among my treasures still adorns my board. For Tydeus left me young when Thebes' wall beheld the sons of Greece untimely fall. Mindful of this, in friendship let us join, if heaven our steps to foreign lands incline. My guest in Argos, thou, and I in Lycia thine. Enough of Trojans to this lance shall yield, in the full harvest of yon ample field. Enough of Greeks shall dye thy spear with gore, but thou and Diomed be foes no more. Now change we arms and prove to either host. We guard the friendship of the line we boast. And with that, we come to the end of the episode. So I will say thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night. No matter what time of day it is, I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow with more of The Longing. Goodbye.